Hello and welcome to Silverstone for the second meeting in the year with the Silverstone Racing Club. It's a lovely day, the track's dry, but there has been a strong wind blowing, and that was certainly noticeable during the qualifying this morning. We join race 6 now as the leaders line up on the grid. Over to Eugene O'Brien.
And car 3, the first car we see, the red car of Richard Morris. Richard did a 1:5.4, not quite as quick as he'd gone on the recent lapping session, and that was probably the wind that slowed him down. But he's a 33-year-old general manager. He says he races for fun, but it seems to me that he takes it pretty seriously, and his time good enough for pole position.
Beside him we have Calvin Player. He managed a 1:06.1. He's had lots of racing school successes in the past, but his recent performances have been rather disappointing, and that's earned him the title of Calvin Spinner to his friends.
I'm sure he'll be pleased to hear you say that. And he looks across to Gordon Wade, and Gordon smiles at the camera there, and waves at the camera too. He's obviously looking very relaxed and confident. He actually finished first in the last Silverstone Racing Club event, and he's an instructor with Silverstone Skid School. Perhaps not the youngest driver in the field at 65.
0.2 of a second behind him, at fourth position, is Kostas Anatolitis. That's Kostas to his friends, and it's going to be Kostas to the commentators from now on. He's 37 years old.
And Kostas not renowned for his smooth driving style. But car 10 there next to him, David White, 22-year-old car salesman. He's in a 1:06.7 on the second row. Car 4, Paul Ward, also 22, and he did a 1:7.0.
Number 5, Stephen Rankin. He's a 0.1 of a second behind him. And beside him, David Liversedge, a whole second behind. David is 24 years old. The yellow car there, Simon Clement and Ian Osborne beside him, take up 8th and 9th, and Tim Busby's last. But the lights are on the lights are on green, and it looks like Kostas Anatolitis has got a very good start indeed. I saw him squeezing between Richard Morris and Calvin Player, and I think that was Stephen Rankin who also got off to a good start.
Yes, I could see Stephen made an exceptionally good start. He may have gained a couple of places by the time they arrived at Copse, but we wait at Maggots, and will it be the red car of Morris or the orange car of Kostas in the lead? And it's the red car, Morris in the lead, just about from Kostas, and two white cars side by side there. I think that's Gordon Wade and Calvin Player. And Morris just about in the lead there, perhaps a little bit too quick into Beckett's. All three of them, in fact, slid wide.
That, in fact, was Calvin Player in the white car, his rear end coming round, almost allowing David White to pass him on the inside in the blue car, but as they go down
Club straight for the first time, they approach Woodcut Corner with the leaders jostling for first place, and it looks like Morris still in the lead, with just behind him is Kostas, and I think it's Gordon Wade with Stephen Rankin perhaps moving through to fourth place.
In fact, it was Stephen Rankin and Paul Ward who both passed Calvin Player and David White then. They double overtaking manoeuvre, so that's 4th and 5th changing round and 6th and 7th, and that was before they actually entered Woodcote.
Yeah, they must have benefited from the slipstream along the club straight. The tail end is just going through Woodcote there. I think that was Tim Busby in the red car. But we await the leaders again at Maggots. Still in the lead, I think it's Richard Morris, with right behind him this time, Kostas closing up, and they pulled a slight gap to Gordon Wade, and close behind him, Stephen Rankin and Calvin Player.
Well, the first 5 cars have most definitely pulled away from 6th place man, I think that's Paul Ward, but it's Richard Morris going too fast into Beckett's once more. Kostas having the inside line open to him, but I think he was following Richard Morris too closely there.
Yeah, they both slid wide, and that was Kostas' chance to get through into the lead. He didn't really take advantage of it.
Well, Kostas and Rankin are both in overtaking positions. They've moved out together. There's going to be a change of position as they come into Woodcote for the second time.
Yeah, and Morris has gone through to lead, and Rankin's got ahead of Wade. Now, Wade's not usually in 4th place. He won't like that at all. And in fact, he tries to outbrake Rankin and doesn't make it. That was a bit of an ambitious manoeuvre from Gordon Wade, but he uses all his skid school experience to good effect to keep control of the car, but he's dropped back from the leaders.
Well, that mistake cost Gordon a place. I noticed Calvin Player got through, and Stephen Rankin, so that's Gordon Wade down to 5th.
And you see Tim Busby going through there. He had a very bad accident during qualifying in which his car was virtually totally written off, and he's taking things a bit cautiously. He's very brave to make the race at all.
Well, that looks like Morris is back in the lead. Something must have happened at Copse that we didn't see. Kostas second, closing very hard there. I don't think he's going to try and pass him here, but trying to get in a good position to assault him down the club straight.
Yeah, and following those, it looked like Calvin Player, I think, in the white car in 3rd place, but then there was Gordon Wade and Stephen Rankin close behind.
Simon Clement there in car number 14. He's had 2 years with Silverstone Racing Club. He's up to this senior race of the day. He's got no real plans for the future.
No, but Costas has got plans and he intends to win this race. But Richard Morris is fighting back and outbreaks Costas into Woodcote there. The two almost touch as Richard Morris hits the curve on the inside, but he's just about regained the advantage.
Well, in third place there was Stephen Rankin, closely pursued by Calvin Player. Gordon Wade in his fifth position, Paul Ward in sixth, David White seventh, David Liversage behind those in eighth position, Ian Osborne in ninth, and in 10th position we had Simon Clement.
And it was quite a battle going through there for 6th and 7th place, I think. It'd be interesting to see how that's resolved at Beckett's. But in the lead still, Richard Morris just ahead of Costas there. And I think Costas would be wise to just try and take a good line through Beckett's and be in a position to challenge along the main straight.
And Players past Rankin. And I think Rankin may get back through on the inside there. But David Liversage is in a spin. Well, hey, two cars collide, flying in the air. That is number 10, David White. Well, I don't think he's going to continue the race today.
No, but meanwhile, back at the front, Richard Morris still just about on the inside line going through Woodcote. And Costas wisely pulls in behind him and may have the inside line towards Copse. And it's Calvin Spinner there. Sorry, Calvin Player. He's lost it going into Woodcote. Perhaps his rear wheel's locked up under braking. And he'll be pulling into the pits to have his car checked.
Well, that's good news for Gordon. Not the best way to move out of place, but Gordon's back into his fourth place. I don't think Calvin will be able to continue now. He's going to have to put in the pits to have his car checked over.
Yeah, OK, he'll be pulling in the pits. He'll be very disappointed. He was hoping to get rid of that reputation of being a spinner, but he hasn't managed it yet. And that was David White running away from his car there. That's car 3, Richard Morris, still in the lead from Costas. And Morris really is going far too quickly into Beckett's and is losing ground there to Costas.
We are beyond the halfway stage now. This is lap 5, so there's only 3.5 laps to go. Car 5 coming to shot there. That was Paul Ward. He's not fared as well as Stephen Rankin did. In fact, Paul was ahead of Stephen on the grid. Ian Osborne in 6th, Simon Clement in 7th, and Tim Busby taking up the rear.
The leaders are still fighting over this first place, and looks like Morris on his hand. And Costas trying to go around the outside, and that's not the place to do it. And he very nearly lost it there, but Costas is used to that sort of situation. He's been in it many times before.
Morris is driving very well so far. He's it's not quite sure whether he's occupying the inside line going into Woodcote and just driving defensively, or whether Costas is passing him and Morris is retaking him on the entrance to Woodcote.
Well, I'm not sure. We can't quite see from this camera angle, but certainly they're having a good old ding-dong for first place. And it looks like Morris still just in the lead from Costas. And Costas would be very advised to just bide his time here, wait for the right opportunity to go past. He looks at the inside there going into Beckett's, but stays behind, forcing Morris wide, and he's gone for the gap on the inside, not quite making it, but in a good position to challenge along the straight.
Well, taking up 6th position is Ian Osborne there. He's a 28-year-old lift engineer. He'll be hoping to move up in this race, but he doesn't seem to be getting much further than his 6th position.
No, he certainly doesn't. And I don't know what's happened here. Richard Morris has lost a lot of ground. There may be a problem with his car, and Costas is well in the lead this time, and it looks like he may be heading for his first win for some time.
Well, that's Steve Rankin in 3rd place. He's alone in 3rd place, but he has had a very good race so far. That's 7th to 3rd so far. Twice he's overtaken down the straight. Once he overtook 2 people. He's done the fastest lap so far. I've just heard a 1:04.6. That's in fact better than the race leader. But who the race leader is at the moment, I'm not sure.
Well, certainly as he went out of view, it looked like Costas had a significant lead down. It may be Richard Morris with a problem, or possibly he missed a gear as they went along the main straight. We'll see as they come towards Maggots. But there's Tim Busby following up. He's actually hoping to do some endurance racing later in the year, and he seems to be dragging this race out.
Well, this is lap 7, and Tim Busby could be a problem for the leaders when they come round to
and
look
look, Richard Morris has closed right up again on Costas. Perhaps Costas made a mistake there, but certainly the 2 leaders back locked in that battle again, and sliding a little bit wide there was Gordon Wade.
Well, it's interesting to notice if we look at the apex of Beckett's there, several drivers seem to be going wide and very repeatedly.
Yeah, they're all making the same mistake. The heat of the battle is certainly forcing them to some errors, and they're losing time. And look, the leaders are alongside again, and it looks like Richard Morris yet again has got the advantage on the inside. The 2 cars go side by side, almost touching there as they go through Woodcote, and side by side as well as they go along the pit straight.
Well, that's not going to be the easiest place to pass, is it, Copse?
Copse is not a good place to overtake now, and hopefully they'll both come out the other side and continue their battle at Maggots and Beckett's. Car 16 going through Ian Osborne, and he's just ahead of Simon Clement, and those 2 are pulled well away from Tim Busby in 8th place.
Well, this is the last lap. Costas, this is your last chance.
And Costas is in the lead. He got a lead, and he's left the gap there, and Morris has gone straight for it. Really, Costas should have shut the door then, but didn't, and he's, as well as losing the lead, he's lost a lot of speed there coming out of Beckett's.
He may not be able to remake that up by the time they get to Woodcote. Must be 3 car lengths between the two of them there.
Well, his only chance really is that there's a back marker in the lead. That's Tim Busby. He may well slow them up at Woodcote.
Yes, well, Morris almost collides with Busby, I think. No, he's forced onto the inside line, and Costas goes to an inside line too, and... No, it was Morris, certainly Morris, who took the lead at the checkered flag.
And those two are followed by Stephen Rankin in a safe, solid 3rd place, followed by Gordon Wade. And behind him, I think it was Paul Ward, and he'll be followed by car 16, the black car of Ian Osborne, and a little way behind him is Simon Clement.
And Tim Busby, we can't see him there because Tim Busby in fact was lapped, so he only completes 7 laps. But these two really have brought us an exciting race, constantly changing the lead position. Orange in the lead, then red, red, orange. Quite a traffic light battle, if you like.
Yeah, and behind them was Stephen Rankin. He's in a green car, and he was certainly going for it as well.
Well, Costas, of course, going to be slightly disappointed with his 2nd place. He did have a chance on the last lap, but a slight mistake at Beckett's changed that. He's got the consolation of having the fastest race lap, a 1:04.5. That's 0.2 ahead of Morris. So Costas should be quite pleased with that.
Yeah, that's one of his best results recently. But full marks to Richard Morris, who drove a fine race and did very well to hang on to the lead.
Well, number 16, Ian Osborne, he comes from Toaston, so he hasn't got far to come to the races. This is his 6th race, and in the 7th position we have,
Simon Clement in the yellow car.
Yes, well, that was the last race of the day. It was, certainly proved exciting with all the drivers being so talented, but from Silverstone, we'll have to say goodbye for now.